This week on The Verdict, we will be getting you in the mood for Halloween. Mwahaha, let's take a look. Welcome to The Verdict. I'm Geraldine Johnson, dressed as Helen Sharp from Death Becomes Her.
I'm Hannibal Burris.
And I'm Giovanni Rangel as Pikachu.
In the 2007 film by Michael Dougherty, we follow 4 different spooky tales that intertwine within each other, involving their violation of the rules of Halloween. The guard of Halloween, or spirit rather, named Sam, coincidence? I think not, delivers out the violators' punishment for their crimes against Halloween. Simple rules such as always check your candy are displayed in this rather grim Halloween tale, with an incredible ensemble of actors such as Dylan Baker, Brian Cox, Anna Paquin, and Leslie Bibb help bring this story from the dead. Let's take a look at that trailer and really give them pumpkin to talk about.
During the spookiest time of the year, there are a few guidelines all ghosts and goblins should follow. Always stay on sidewalks. Never go to a stranger's house. And never go out alone.
This is the one night that all sorts of things roam free. Sorry. All these traditions.
Wait.
What?
You're supposed to keep it lit.
Why?
Ancient tradition?
Putting on costumes,
I look like I'm 5. You look great. What did we do now? We meet our dates.
jack-o'-lanterns.
Why are we here? To pay our respects to the dead?
The Halloween school bus massacre.
They started to protect us, but
What in God's name are you doing down there? Hiding buddies?
nowadays, no one really cares.
This one's still lit.
What is that?
It's them.
Oh my God.
Look at me. It's not a trick. It's real.
Tonight is about respecting the customs, not breaking them.
So, after watching this film, I want to reiterate the most important part. Don't forget to help me with the eyes.
I think what I like about this movie is, compared to like a lot of the Halloween slasher horror films, it really embodies Halloween itself. Because check this out, when it comes to like Christmas, we have Santa. For like Easter, we have the Easter Bunny and so on and so forth. But with this movie, when it comes to, it could be anything. It could be like, you could be a werewolf, you can be a vampire, a crazy spirit, anything like that. So I think that's what I enjoyed most out of it, is that it really, instead of just being, a normal Halloween movie, where it has nothing to do with the holiday itself, it's actually embodying that.
I agree with you. I think one of the favorites, my favorite parts of it, which also Michael Dougherty is he did Krampus as well, which I also really liked that movie. It got a lot of bad praise, but I liked it. He did something really different with it, which they actually have a comic based on this movie and stuff. Sam is well, I mean, originally Halloween's like Samhain or whatever. So I mean, or like Samhain is what the people also call it as well. So it's like a Celtic holiday and stuff, and he is just like, hey, don't blow out your pumpkin's candles before Halloween's over. Like, I'll kill you. Like, and he did. So, and he was there for everything that happened. So like, he's just like the guard or like the spirit of Halloween, and he's like, and he kind of like delves out punishment for like people who really like mess up, you know, like especially the bus driver. That was like, I was like, yes. But that whole, like, that was actually my least favorite tale, leading up to his punishment, because I was like, this is really drawn out. That's the only like critique I have for it, because I was like, get a move on. I'm ready to see what happens. And I think that was like very well thought, though, what he did with it. So I don't know. What did you think?
I don't know. Normally I'm super passionate about movies, but this is not one of those movies.
Of course.
Now, I did like Krampus, but I think I just like Adam Scott.
I love Adam Scott.
Like, because when I watched this movie, I was like, wow, it has like Brian Cox, like he's awesome on Succession. Like, maybe I'm really gonna like it. And I was like, no, it's just cool. It's just okay. Like, if I was just having like a lazy day and it was on, I would like glance at it. But I don't think it's really worth like your full attention. I mean, I feel like we give horror movies a big break. And I have to disagree with you about perfectly embodying Halloween. I think the movie I'm going to talk about later perfectly embodies Halloween. But not even just because of the name. I just purely feel like I was like, oh, this movie just felt like, oh, like we're just going to have a fun anthology and we're just going to have these different stories that hopefully they'll come together and do well. But anthology is only as good as its worst story. But unfortunately, I feel like this one also is as bad as his best story, which means it's still pretty bad.
I disagree, 100%. But here's my thing. I think all of the stories do link up perfectly in the end. I think they, especially the part where they were bullying the girl, the weird girl, Rhonda, who enjoys Halloween and stuff. Then they invite her out, which was really messed up to do. And then they're like, oh, we're going to take her to do this really scary thing, and we're going to scare the crap out of her. They got their punishment. The bus driver got his punishment by those kids. It all just linked up so perfectly. And then the school principal who was killing kids, and we didn't even know that, which I don't know how you guys feel about it. I literally thought he killed his kid, his own kid, in that part. And I was like, oh my God, which that kid was really funny. But he also could be a human version of Chucky, like the Chucky doll. I don't know if you guys agree, but I think so. I'm like, wow, he is like the perfect little ginger for that part. But anyway, you were about to say something and I totally cut you off. So.
Oh no, I do like how, because I disagree as well.
Yeah.
Hey, why do you disagree?
I disagree because I actually ended up really liking how everything tied together. Because in the end, one critique, because it did throw me off. Like, okay, what happened when that little spirit thing, you know, that was going around and like messing with everybody, like all the people with the different stories, what was going on all in that one day. I think the one issue I had was the couple, you know how the couple showed up originally?
Yes.
And then how they, like, it was kind of like, oh, well, there's something that happened to this old dude with the shotgun, and all of a sudden, like, he's good to go. He learned his lesson, but then all of a sudden, I thought he was the last story.
Yeah.
But then next, the couple shows up, and it's kind of like it goes right back. I think that's interesting, but yet I was like, it kind of threw me off with how they did it.
Which I also agree. I think their story was kind of unnecessary to the plot as well, because I was like, it just shows them like in the places that other things are happening.
Yeah.
It doesn't really give much of a backstory. It just shows that she's like, oh, we need to start taking all this like decorations down. I hate Halloween. And then Sam's like, you did. And that was basically what happened with that. And I was like, but it's good to know that this is like I think it is an IFC film is what I did check on.
Yeah.
So it's not a well-known film. I mean, it's getting more traction as the years go along, which is like, it's a little like late, but I mean, I thought it was great for an IFC film, which I love IFC.
No, I'm not going to give it that, because I've seen some genuinely great IFC films. I don't care like how low your budget was, which by the way, they have some pretty good actors, so it wasn't that low. And I'm not going to give the movie, I'm not going to rate it on the low spectrum. And listen, it's not like I expect like, you know, Halloween movies to be Othello or anything, but I do expect you to be as good as these movies are supposed to be. And the best movies about Halloween or horror or anything are movies where you care about the people, and then when the death happens, you're shocked and you're thrilled, right? This movie has none of that at all. I don't know, like if you want to talk about like a perfect embodiment of Halloween or something, I would think like something like Nightmare on Elm Street or something, where I really felt for anyone.
But that's not a Halloween film. This is a specific Halloween film. That's where I'm disagreeing. We're gonna gang up on you. Like,
but even like the holiday can be a spirit of something. But I truly didn't feel like the holiday was a spirit beyond like, you know, the Sam character. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really feel like Halloween itself was a character.
I
In a way
understand
that, like,
kind of where you're going, but I also disagree still, because I think for a Halloween film, like, we don't have a lot of like specific Halloween films other than the Halloween franchise. I feel like we have horror films. There's a big difference between horror and Halloween. This is a Halloween film. I think it does perfect justice for what Halloween is. You go costume shopping, you decorate your house, you go trick-or-treating, you do all of these fun things, and you go out and you have parties, all these festivities, and then nobody expects like these like insane things to actually happen. Like, we always know the rule, like, always check your candy. They use that rule against that kid, they kill the kid. I mean, like, he like carves a pumpkin out of the kid's head. Like, these are things that like you don't see in normal, like, well, you do see them in horror films, but you don't see them in like actual Halloween films a lot. I mean, they didn't really do that much with the Halloween franchise like that. I feel like the more that they're,
I really feel like they did. And
no,
also,
the more that we're getting into it, they're exploring more. They didn't have a lot to do with that, though.
I don't know, I personally feel like the Halloween Town movies are scarier than this movie.
You're okay. That is a
Yeah, no, the
stretch.
Halloween Town trilogy is better than this entire film.
We're going to go in on Halloween.
Yeah, we're gonna go Halloween Town. I like Halloween Town. You know what? Just watch Halloween Town instead of this movie.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
All right, but now we will talk about a movie co-written by comedian Danny McBride, but this film's no joke. It's a surprisingly great reboot of Halloween. This 2008 film, directed by David Gordon Green, erases the entire canon of the series except for the first film and follows up on Laurie Strode and Michael Myers 40 years later. Let's take a look at the trailer.
I've waited for him.
Testing 1, 2, 3. We're on.
We're here to investigate a patient that killed 3 innocent teenagers on a Halloween in 1978. He was shot by his own psychiatrist and taken into custody that night, and has spent the last 40 years in captivity. Hello, Michael. I have something you might like to see.
Everyone in my family like turns into a nutcase this time of year. Yeah, I mean, your grandmother is Laurie Strode. She was almost murdered.
Wasn't it her brother who murdered all those babysitters?
No, it was not her brother. That's something that people made up.
Do you know that I pray every night that he would escape?
What the hell did you do that for?
So I can kill him.
Dad, look out!
The bus crashed.
Mom, what bus crashed?
Michael escaped.
Excuse me, somebody's in here.
Hello?
He's waited for this night. He's waited for me. I've waited for him. Get out of the room! Get inside! You don't believe in the boogeyman? He's here! Michael! You should.
Can you close the closet door?
I really Michael Myers this. What did you guys think?
Number one, that was lame.
I don't write the scripts.
You're supposed to write your intro and outro. Anyway, we're gonna go in on him.
You're gonna go. They're mad because of the previous conversation. Let's get into it. This embodies Halloween.
Okay, it does, but it doesn't. The original movies, they didn't have like the technology that we have now to really get into all of the stuff that they did in this film. I thought the kills were awesome in this film, especially the part where dude kicked him in the head. That was perfect. I was like, oh, like I literally like verbally screamed. I was like, yeah, that's sick.
Well, people in my theater went insane for this movie.
It was amazing. I thought the reboot did justice. And when people told me that they didn't like it, I was like, you didn't watch it then. You literally did not sit down to actually pay attention. I'm like, rewatch it and come to me. And then they did, and they're like, yeah, you know, I actually rewatched it and I really liked it. I'm like, exactly, because it is that good.
To me, I think it's just crazy that the dudes behind Pineapple Express
Yeah.
are the ones who make a great Halloween movie. They're like,
Well, Danny McBride's a really brilliant dude, so I'm not surprised at all. And I actually did pick up on that when I watched the trailer. I was like, not the trailer, but like the ending. I was like, oh my God, Danny McBride's on the credits. What? And I totally like it went over my head because I didn't really process it. And now that you're really like putting that out there, I'm like, you know, actually, you're right.
True. I mean, he's great, but like then you have David Gordon Green, who's really hit or miss. Like he'll do George Washington and Pineapple Express, and then he'll also do Your Highness. And I'm like, dude, who even are you?
Your Highness
are
was
you
great.
a good director or what?
Your Highness was hilarious.
No, it was not. No.
Rewatch it and you will find so many jokes. Anyway.
Oh yeah, definitely. So for me, like this was the first time I have ever seen like Halloween ever, like, and it was the reboot. So it made me actually get into all the stuff before. So when watching like Michael Myers do his thing, like, okay, I'm actually watching him after everything has happened. So I'm just like, okay, who's this guy who's so into him? Like he's at an asylum. I'm like, okay, so they must have got him. Everyone's older now and so on and so forth. But like, dude, like the way he was taking people out was insane.
It was
like,
amazing.
When he took out those journalists, and we're doing broadcast media, you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, our professors send us out to do podcasts and stuff, and then when we get beat up, they're like, oh no, that's a D-.
Oh, so, all right, but check this out. Like when the way he took them out, I was like, oh, this dude is on a whole nother level. Like way he teased the female journalist.
Oh, just
with the dudes and dropped it down. I was like, oh.
Not to mention, he is like a killing machine. Like this guy is big. He's not gonna die,
yeah.
which is why I'm so excited to see the sequel that they do. I'm excited to see what they do. Like the originals are really great. Like they're perfect. Like John Carpenter did amazing, except for the third one. We don't really count the third one in there because let's be real. Like the Silver Shamrock thing, that had nothing to do with Michael Myers. It showed him on like a TV screen in the film once.
True, but it was awesome.
It was also
Three is
awesome. I
so
agree.
awesome.
I always sing that song.
3 is the best thing. I don't care what anybody says.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. I love it. I still personally own it, but I think it doesn't fit with the Michael Myers thing.
Oh,
I just think it doesn't fit. It's a different story.
But like outside of Michael Myers, in this movie, who's your favorite character?
Oh, Lori.
Lori?
Well, yeah, Lori, definitely.
I mean, the part where, actually, I really appreciate her daughter as well. Like, especially in the end where she's like, I can't. Psych, basically. I was like,
Oh yeah, Judy Greer. Although I do have one problem with this movie, and there's nothing that's in the movie. All right, my favorite current comedian was in this movie, and then they cut his scene out, Andrew Schultz, and I was super sad.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, he like was advertised. He's like, yeah, I'm going to be on Halloween, and then they cut his scene, and I was really sad.
I enjoy him. One thing I disliked about it was the dialogue with the parents in the beginning scene, where the dad kept repeating the inappropriate word at breakfast. Oh, I spilled something on me, and I was like,
peanut butter.
yeah, I was like, that's really unnecessary. It was like, it's almost like a Rob Zombie kind of thing, not as bad as Rob Zombie, because that was terrible.
Let's not begin to Rob Zombie, who I like. I like Rob Zombie.
I like Rob Zombie,
but not for Halloween.
I was like, oh man, okay, let's not go there. I was like, stop repeating the word, just move on. And then I really, I'm trying to think of one part that I really enjoyed, because I love Laurie Strode in general, and I think the continuation, I think a lot of people didn't understand that there was a continuation from the first film. Like, not even, like the second film didn't happen in this like continuation at all. So I thought that people were like kind of confused, like, oh, how did that happen?
But they do, I thought they explained it well, because they're like, isn't she related to Michael Myers? They're like, no, this is only something dumb people think.
Yes.
They lie in the movie so much.
And then,
come on, you gotta give it up though. Like all right, so I'll just tell you my favorite scene. I feel like everyone resonates with this when it comes to like, you know, people yelling at a horror movie or whatever, like, don't do this, get out of there, so on and so forth. The little kid who was being babysat.
Yes, he was perfect.
He's doing what everyone else would have done, like watching the film.
Oh yeah, just like get out.
Get some help me. He was like, He left me with death.
I loved him. He did really well.
Although my favorite scene was like the friend zone guy kill. That kill was so good.
That was amazing.
Off and on. And he was like, hey man, what are you doing? Like goes on and he's close. I love stuff like that so much. He was like, no. That was just like, oh god.
That scene was perfect.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I was like, yes.
It was such a good kill. Because the best kills are when you really don't see anything.
Sadly, I was rooting for him.
You were rooting for friend zone guy?
Ew, no.
No. He knew something in that situation. He knew
This is
exactly.
a really terrible thing to say, but he looked like Rocky Dennis.
What?
Like he looked like Rocky Dennis, and I was like, man, you ain't got a chance. But anyway, not to mention he was like coming on way too strong. Anyway, that's a side note. We're gonna continue. I also really liked how they tied in Donald Pleasant's like original character, Dr. Loomis, because he is like the soul and heart of the one who was obsessed with getting Michael Myers. I did not see the twist coming with the guy who studied under Dr. Loomis.
Oh, I saw that twist coming.
I didn't see it coming. I thought maybe, I don't know, I thought this was
Because how else
weird.
would he have got out the bus? Like as soon as the whole bus thing happened, I was like, he's not Superman.
Well,
You can't
yeah.
do this about. I'm like, there's only like that's like the rule for movies. If only like 4 people speak and then like one person's tied up, I'm like, well, these 2 people weren't over here, so I guess it was him.
But I also I liked his character as well, and like the fact that, oh God, like he just like, he was brutal. Like he killed like, he's the one who, wasn't he the one who stepped on the guy's head? No, that was Michael Myers. He stepped on his head.
Yeah.
That was perfect. That was perfect.
Yeah,
I love
that's
that
really
scene.
good. I can't wait till what they're gonna do with it. But Wes Craven directs the modern horror classic Scream, where a peaceful town turned upside down is threatened by a mass knife-slashing maniac, who is out to get the youth of the middle-class suburbia.
Hello?
Hello?
Who is this?
Tell me your name, I'll tell you mine.
I don't think so.
What's that noise?
Popcorn.
You making popcorn?
Well, I'm getting ready to watch a video.
Really? What?
Oh, just some scary movie.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
You never told me your name.
Why do you want to know my name?
I want to know who I'm looking at.
Someone is playing a deadly game.
It all began with a scream over 911.
Someone who's seen one too many scary movies. Now he's taken his love of fear
Hello?
Hello, Sydney.
one step too far.
Do you like scary movies?
What's the point? They're all the same. Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act, who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a scary movie. Number 1, you can never have sex.
This me.
Never, ever, ever, under any circumstances, say, I'll be right back. Because you won't be back.
Get another beer. You want one?
Yeah, sure.
I'll be right back.
He didn't make the rules.
Police are always on track. If they watch prom night, they save time.
He just kills by them. Don't answer the phone. Don't open the door. Don't try to hide.
Everybody's a suspect!
You're not scared, are you?
Squeak.
Okay, so when I watched this one, all I thought was scary movie. I was like, oh my gosh, this is where they got it from? Like, this is like the first time I've ever seen like the legit like original Scream. And all I thought like throughout the whole entire intro with the blonde was the scary movie, like the scene. I was like, oh my gosh, no. But yeah.
Are you gonna do it? You gotta do it.
You gotta do it.
You gotta do it.
It's on the script.
What?
You gotta do it. I was about to say you gotta do it.
I was waiting on it. I was like,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wes Craven, to me, I think he is what more filmmakers should aspire to. Because Wes Craven, he's not the type, to go back to the first movie we talked about today, I thought that movie was just average, right? And Wes Craven, he made a movie called Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
that was actually really, really good.
It was an okay movie, I felt like.
Well, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was just okay, but he listened to the criticism from fans and critics, and he said, you know what, I'm going to do a meta horror movie, and I'm going to do it better. And then he collaborated with a bunch of people, found the script by a young screenwriter, and they made Scream. And this, in my opinion, even more than Nightmare on Elm Street movies, is his masterpiece.
It is. the first movie is the best one in my opinion.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think the other ones are still like, they still have the comedic elements. They're still funny, but I think the first one is by far like the best. Number 4 was like a second best to me. I don't know. I really like appreciated number 4.
Oh, yeah. The opening scene of 4 alone should win an Oscar. Like, the opening scene of 4 was
that
great.
was perfect. I really enjoyed this, especially because like. Of course, they did make the Scary Movie, which that's all you can think about when you watch it afterwards. But I think like the actors that were in it were just so good. Like especially that you don't see it being the boyfriend. I didn't see it being the boyfriend at all. The whole time I was like, it's got to be the boyfriend's best friend.
I mean, I saw the boyfriend. Like
I did it because he's too beautiful.
But the movie did
he's too beautiful.
That was the best fake out though.
Hold on. Did you not see his face the whole entire time? He was like.
I mean,
like he was looking dead in her face and everything. Like, all right, so
I just wouldn't imagine. Like, he'd be like, I don't know, too into her to like try to kill her. But then like,
I'm sure at the time in 1996, like them watching it, they had no clue.
Yeah.
Like for me, I was looking.
I'm naive though. I have like I see the best in people. I'm like maybe he's not.
So you would be the first victim.
It would be.
You'd be the first.
Yeah.
You would be Drew Barrymore on the phone, like, yeah, so what do you look like?
Yes.
Which, by the way, is like, I know, like, nowadays, like, we all know the twist of the opening scene, but that is amazing. Like, that would be like casting Margot Robbie in the movie and just having her die in the first 5 minutes.
Yes.
Like, it was just amazing that they would kill off their lead actress that early.
Yes.
I had to see it, like, from a whole different angle because I saw a young Shaggy.
Yes, Shaggy.
I was like, oh my gosh. But I had to really take it seriously because every time I saw him, like, he was still that animated dude. So I was like, don't.
And it's hard to watch movies like She's All That because he's also in that.
Yeah.
And you can't take him seriously in that either. So it's like, what is...
Like he's playing as himself.
Yeah.
Like, he's just naturally that silly. Or what's that one he did with, like, Overboard or... Not Overboard. You guys know what I'm talking about?
No.
He did with, like, the guy from Robot Chicken.
No.
Seth Green.
Oh gosh,
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. He was also animated.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't know the name of it.
I agree with you guys. The casting's great. I feel like this movie, just like Back to the Future, has a perfect script that doesn't waste a line. Everything is impactful or funny, and it all builds on each other. There's not one scene in this movie you could cut.
Yeah.
You know what? I could say it was clever. I did like how it felt like, okay, the audience is really trying to figure out who this is, who's the killer, and then as well as just like how the killer's playing games and so on and so forth, and then like all right. So what really got me was the ending. Was of course like it was the boyfriend. At least I knew, I had a feeling, but then next thing you know, you end up seeing his friend show up, and I was just like, whoa, he had someone else helping him out this whole entire time.
And it's smart,
yeah,
especially for like young kids. Like I mean, they're younger than us, so it's like. They're really like clever. Like it's scary how clever they are because you don't know. You're like, you two could be it like right now, and I wouldn't know. Like you guys would be like, we're conspiring against you. And I'm like, oh, okay, I wouldn't even know because like I'm naive. So that's how they get you.
That's how they get you. And also, I think this movie is interesting because, well, like Wes Craven really doesn't like Quentin Tarantino. Well, I guess didn't. RP to Wes Craven, but and he was like, I hate all the violence in his movies and stuff. So I just think it's funny how violently he ends his own movie.
That's true.
Like at the time in the 90s, he was like, Tarantino sucks. Like his violence is crazy. Even in Scream 2, like they have a character. The villain in Scream 2 was a Tarantino fan. Yeah, like as soon as like the character said he was a Tarantino fan, I was like, oh, then obviously that guy's going to be the villain.
You know what? I honestly felt bad for one person, Kenny. She's like the anchor. She's like, man. She's like, I'm trying to get out of here. And she ends up using the windshield to get Kenny off the top of the car. I said no. I mean, I think the humor was on point.
Oh yeah,
it was.
Everything was on point with
especially
this movie.
if you like compare the first one to the fourth one. Like if you just skip because I think the other two in the middle, they're okay. They're not the best, but I think 1 and 4 are the best out of all of them. And I think if you compare the humor, like it is so like perfect, and it all links up. And I think I can't remember his name, but he's always in like he's been in like skits and stuff, and he was in like Big Mama's House and stuff. Can't think of his name. He was one of the cops, and then like the way he died and stuff like that in that movie. But like that scene before he died was so funny too. I was just like, oh my god.
Are you talking about Anthony Anderson?
Yes.
Part 4? Yes, he was great. I mean, I do agree. Like I feel like part 2, like the whole Tarantino stuff, I feel like was unhelpful, and then part 3, literally having on the movie set was stupid.
It was, but I also kind of liked part 3 a little bit too because I was like, movie set, that's kind of funny. But
I mean, it is, but it's like you're already making a meta movie, like, and you don't have to be that meta.
Man, but yeah, the movie was incredible. So King Kung Fu films, 36 Chambers of Shaolin, Police Story, and 3 Super Cop, and Ip Man. will be for the next show. So thank you everybody for watching, and you guys have a good day.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.